What's going on, everyone? Tommy P back with another naturally obsessed look into basketball. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe button, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought about today's video. And as I always like to preface by saying, I am not a basketball expert, just a fan who's naturally obsessed. And in today's video, we're going to talk about where we stand with Kevin Durant's future and where he could potentially play next year, if not the Brooklyn Nets, which, let's face it, you could be the most hardened Brooklyn Nets fan, the most hardened Kevin Durant fan. You may just simply want Kevin Durant to remain in Brooklyn for one reason or another. Right now, with where we stand in the whole Kyrie Irving situation, you have to accept the reality of where we're at and what's being reported and what's being surfaced as of right now. And that's his future seems to be very tied with Kyrie Irving. And it's very weird, it's very ridiculous, right? Because I think we all, no matter if you judged Kevin Durant for going to Golden State or you applauded him for going to Golden State, I think a lot of us can admire the fact that he wanted to show he could do it on his own outside of the Golden State Warriors organization. But essentially what you did is you chose Kyrie Irving over Steph Curry. And it's looking more and more foolish by the day. It was looking foolish before Steph Curry won yet another title without Kevin Durant. One before Kevin Durant, one with Kevin Durant, and now he's winning without Kevin Durant. So I think a lot of people are starting to become more outspoken about how ridiculous of a decision that truly was. So where we stand right now, I've talked about it several times, and before we get into this, I want to just say a lot of you trolled and made ridiculous statements on my last videos about Kevin Durant. I don't give a shit. I'm just pointing out right now, what we are talking about is a hypothetical scenario based off of not only things that we do know, but rumors that are going around and things that I'm being told from people that I trust. I could give a shit whether you want to trust the people that I know or not, but I do. And as I say in my videos, I'm willing to put what little credibility I have so far. I'm trying to build credibility with you all, but this is a new channel, so if you'll give me some time, hopefully over the course of time, I'll develop more. But what little I have right now, I'm willing to put on the line by telling you things that I am hearing because of how much I trust these people. So take that for what it is. You don't believe me, you have questions, couldn't give a shit. We'll see over the course of time who's right and who's wrong. So that being said, I don't want to hear anyone telling me, oh, it's not going to happen and that be it, because any sort of thing, I will delete comments. Like, if you have no base behind your argument, I really don't care to engage with you. But if you disagree and you want to explain why, please, by all means. I have no problem with difference of opinions. As you guys know on this channel, I will entertain any opinion because, as I always say, I don't know everything by any means, and I don't want to pretend like I do. So please, I value your opinion and I want to know your opinion. Just please don't be like, that's not going to happen, or you're crazy, or won't be put up with, and I won't even engage with you. So that being said, let's just talk about what we do know and what we think we might know. And with Kyrie Irving right now, it's looking more and more by the day that he's on his way out of Brooklyn. For wherever these conversations that the Nets are claiming they're having with Kyrie and his camp, these stories that are coming out, it sounds to me, and when we heard about these talks with Kyrie starting to go south, I posted a video about it, and one of the things that I mentioned was, it sounds to me like a story that Kyrie wants to get out because he's trying to build some sort of leverage. And that could very well be the case. But my question, though, is what kind of leverage do you think he's trying to build here? And is it realistic? And with Kevin Durant, a lot of people, and ever since this whole question about Kyrie's future started coming out, we started hearing stories about Kevin Durant his future in Brooklyn being tied to Kyrie's future in Brooklyn. So if Kyrie moves his way out of Brooklyn, which again, by the day, more and more, it's looking like is an entire, complete possibility. And I think some people can even say looking likely. Kevin Durant says, I don't want to be here anymore, forces his way out. Well, some new Vegas odds came out yesterday, towards the end of last night, towards the end of the draft, and it put a surprise team at the front, and I'm going to tell you guys why I disagree. But the top four, before this happened, there were odds that had the Brooklyn Nets as the overwhelming favorite to retain Kevin Durant. But if he chose to leave, the number one team was the Phoenix Suns. That was the most likely spot for him to land outside of Brooklyn. Right now, top four teams. You have the Miami Heat, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Atlanta Hawks, and then the Phoenix Suns. So I'm going to rule out, in my opinion, I don't know anything as far as this goes. Just if my opinion, I've been saying this from the get-go, a guy like Kevin Durant, one, I think you're going to want to maximize your return for young talent. And I think you're going to want to take him out of the Eastern Conference. You're going to want to put him in the Western Conference. So based off of that alone, not that Miami and Atlanta can't offer intriguing packages because, you know, John Collins, Clint Capella, they're intriguing options, sure. Maybe Miami package a Tyler Hero, maybe a Bam Adebayo, pair Kevin Durant with Jimmy Butler. Sure, absolutely, it's realistic if you think about it, but I just don't think that Brooklyn would want to trade him in the Eastern Conference unless it's a package that's so overwhelmingly in Brooklyn's favor. They're left with no choice but to trade him within the conference. But I don't think either Atlanta or Miami can offer a package like that. So I personally take those two teams out. And again, it's well noted by now, very well noted, I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. But as I try to show on a daily basis, whenever I make content about the Phoenix Suns or about the NBA in general, I am not biased. I am realistic. And I think the Grizzlies can put together a very intriguing package, and the Phoenix Suns can put together a very intriguing package. And before I get into why I think the Phoenix Suns are and should be considered the most realistic and favorite, I want to bring up this point. So a lot of people who are Phoenix Suns fans are familiar with Flex from Jersey. Love Flex, been doing what he does for a long time, very credible, knows a lot of people. And those of you who have been watching the channel for a while know that I have friends within the Phoenix Suns organization. A couple of them know Flex. But the difference between me and Flex is Flex knows so many more people than I do, and he also knows people that hold much higher status within the organization than I do. So even I will admit, Flex knows a hell of a lot more than I do. A hell of a lot more. And what makes this even more impactful, what I'm about to tell you, is that Flex from Jersey is very well connected on the East Coast and has been doing this so long, he's been able to develop relationships with people within the Brooklyn Nets organization, so he's hearing things from both sides. Well, Flex was on Arizona Sports local radio this morning and shared that there is indeed trouble in paradise in Brooklyn, and if he didn't predict that this would happen, he just said, if Kyrie is gone and Kevin Durant does indeed request a trade, and he was asked by the organization, what are your three most ideal destinations you'd want to play for? First team, Phoenix Suns. Second team, Phoenix Suns. Third team. I don't care who the third team is. I want to play for the Phoenix Suns. So again, you might not have any idea who the hell I'm talking about if you're not a Phoenix Suns fan. And that difference, I really don't care. I respect your opinion, but I really don't care if you have an opinion that goes against what Flex is saying, because again, Flex is a very connected guy, knows what the hell he's talking about, and he is not going to put his name to something that can be refuted. He's just not going to do it. I believe that. If you're a Suns fan who knows who Flex is, you know he's not going to do that. So I believe what Flex is saying, and this holds immense weight in my eyes. So where we stand in potential trade packages, which is, I think may be the reason why the Suns weren't quite as aggressive as one I was originally told and believed they would be, is because they sense and they know based off conversations that they've had around the league, there is indeed trouble in paradise. And as I've been saying time and time again, they feel that should a superstar, not a star, not an all-star, but a superstar becomes available, they feel that they're in a very good position to acquire said superstar. And I've told you guys time and time again, I've been checking in almost on a daily basis, trying to get updates. I've ruled several players out, but I said from the get-go, weeks ago, months ago, that Kevin Durant was a guy I was always not told yes on, but I was not told no on. And usually when I'm not given a yes or a no, it's we can't really talk about it yet, but one of those types of things. So I had said all along that the Phoenix Suns would do everything, because let's be realistic. If Kevin Durant wants his way out, it's going to be very hard to get maximum value. You're going to get immense value because Kevin Durant is still one of the very best players in the entire NBA, but it's going to be very hard to get maximum value for Kevin Durant, because what do you think maximum value for Kevin Durant is? 3 young players, maybe 4 young players that have very high upside with maybe 3 or 4 first-round picks? I think that could be looked at as maximum value for sure. That's a huge haul. And I've always said for the Suns and the Brooklyn Nets to make a trade like this work, I think it's going to be based on a potential DeAndre Ayton sign and trade for sure. And with that sign and trade, as I've said time and time again, it's going to be very hard for the Phoenix Suns to get maximum value for a DeAndre Ayton in a sign and trade because of the limits that they can receive back in salary. So that's why a third team is going to be so vital in a trade. But you throw in a DeAndre Ayton, Jay Crowder, I do believe that receiving Kevin Durant back, you'd be willing to part with Cam Johnson. And the part that I haven't been given yes or no to this since I've checked back, at the time, I was told that the Phoenix Suns would do absolutely everything it took to make sure Mikal Bridges does not end up going to the Brooklyn Nets. They want to keep him by any means necessary. But here's where things get tricky, because I had mentioned the Memphis Grizzlies, and I think they can put together a very realistic package for Kevin Durant. I think if the Memphis Grizzlies make a trade offer, you're offering a Jaren Jackson Jr. And why I think that's important to the Phoenix Suns is Jaren Jackson Jr. is one of the very best defensive players in basketball. I personally felt that he was a snub for Defensive Player of the Year finalist. I thought he should have been right up there with Marcus Smart and Mikal Bridges. If you're offering a player like that, will the Phoenix Suns feel pressured to try to offer a player on the same level? I think Mikal Bridges is a better defensive player than Jaren Jackson Jr., but it ain't by much. I'm telling you right now, Jaren Jackson Jr., make no mistake about it, is one of the top tier defensive players in basketball. And honestly, again, all biases aside, I love how much Mikal Bridges' offensive game is developing. But Jaren Jackson Jr. is a better offensive player than Mikal Bridges. So, I guess before I share my opinion, because we're going a little long here, I'm going to cut it off here in a second, but more content like this is coming your way. One of the questions I want to ask you to leave in the comments down below: would you be okay offering Mikal Bridges in a package to get Kevin Durant? That's a very hard question for me to. I want Kevin Durant. I want Kevin Durant very badly, and it makes sense whether you want to believe it or not. It makes sense because there's connections here. He's been very vocal about how much he admires what the Phoenix Suns have done. He's been more than vocal about how much he loves Devin Booker. More than vocal. He would love to play with Devin Booker. Been very vocal about how much he respects Chris Paul. I don't want to throw the word likes Chris Paul, but respects Chris Paul. And he has a past relationship and a current relationship with head coach Monty Williams. There's tremendous love and respect there, and the feeling's very mutual from Monty Williams. Very mutual. There's tons of reasons why Kevin Durant would want to come to the Phoenix Suns. And again, this is all hypothetical as of right now. But more is going to be revealed in the coming weeks. Believe that. Believe that. But again, let me know if you're for this trade, if you're a Phoenix Suns fan, or against this trade if you're a Phoenix Suns fan. And if you're for it, what kind of a package would you be willing to offer? And if you're against it, let me know why. I appreciate you guys watching. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought about today's video, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, guys.